Good evening. Rock and roll, please. I'm not an architect today. In Middle One, 1995, when I was a student of architecture, I designed a collage for a touch and feel theme in Japan, the piece that intimates digital and life. Next one is a revolution in applied art where a finger works more than a brain. In relation to that first slide, the infographics art replaces our emotion. I presume that in the future, more inventive art will be coming. So that's the future, I think. Now the technology is changing our lives. Inherently, our art today, the calligraphy is a history. The advent of ballpoint pen has killed it. And that is the future, and this art has been designed one of the finest architects. By eliminating sensory requirements for our communications like visual presence, hearing, how, touching, are we slowly barring down line between manus and machines? Pink Floyd used music as an art medium to convey exactly this point with their album, Wish You Were There. Professor Richard Weston photographic prints take the views into the world inside nature using special microscopic systems. Accurate to 1 micron, he scans into minerals, fossils, geological things, sections, and prints on surface such as Roman glass. Nature has even inspired us in this project called Pavilion of Canopies. We have attempted to recreate the art, which is the life of flora in her surroundings. We replace its leaf with customized fabric. Art like Ramayana, Life of Jatayu, has been used for centuries in the order to depict myths and religious antidotes. These eventually have been a source of inspiration based on which artistic imagination evolves. Observing life's processes and activities often take shapes into our work. For example, the concept of flexibility transformed into the stackable design of these chairs designed by Philip Stark. We take from culture. Vajju Shyam's London Jungle Book uses the traditional Gondi art of his hometown to represent many aspects of London life using vivid imagery and color. He portrays the life and systems of the West through traditional and cultural perspective. We also take from tradition. Vehicle art has taken various forms. Here is an example of a truck that is heavily embellished with the jingles in Afghanistan. Clothes and intricately designed metalwork, they also portray stories and ideas personal to the driver's daily life. On the other side, we see the same concept being interpreted in the Mumbai cabs by the taxi fabric. Sonar Kella is a 1971 mystery novel by Satyajit Ray. This poster was designed by him in a young style as the movie was a children. And the feathers of the peacock represent the architecture of Rajasthan, especially the white relief. The Piju Pandey's bus advertising for Fevicol immediately attracts one's attention with its use of humor and simplistic imagery that resonates with the audience through its social context. Their advertising have constantly challenged people to think differently about overlooked situations. We see art not just in medium of expression, but also in a mode of influence in social environment causes. For example, as a part of the happenings movements, Alan Capro's Eat converts the ordinary act of eating into the sensory experience, inviting its audience to eat in the more obscure manner. This is an example of public art. A group of young artists who called themselves Lennonists painted an image of John Lennon and words of his songs promoting freedom and peace in order to revolt against the prevalent communist government of Czech Republic. These billboards advertising uses drama and interactions to emphasize the concept of child abuse and the neglect. It makes the observer feel guilt and pushes them to come and free the child. This is a poster in 1996 I've designed when Orissa has a huge flood. It makes one think about emphasis we lay on a material goods and question what really matters. Shirin Nestor's dramatic pieces aim to portray the constant struggle between Islam and the West. Her photographs explore the interrelations between femininity, war, and religion, reinstating the idea of freedom, the lost beauty of her homeland. The art and image of communicate ideas words can't express clearly. The Vikalp design works to make life easier for children in rural Rajasthan, educating them on health and safety using conwords, a traditional storytelling device. The Medellin was one of the most dangerous areas in northern Colombia. The government has built a library park, and the locality is now a growing hub for students and education. The crime rate has fallen, the youngsters are being educated, and the city has an architectural identity and a better social standing. Art is part of life, and life is part of art. Which one you see, and how deeply you see, or you investigate, is entirely dependent on you, or your perspective. I leave you here today. Thank you.
Shomiran, Ovin.
Thank you.
My question is art and architecture. Which one is more inspiring in your life and why?
Not right now, no one, my son. But as a question, I cannot separate architecture and art, two different distinctions. I see architecture and art, and sometimes art and architecture depend on two different medium, how we express our ideas and experience, because architecture has different layers, different dimensions, different axes, where the human habitat has an experience through journey. Art has a medium which can actually supplement some of the areas of architecture, but sometimes it's merges in our architecture practice. So I cannot separate two things. It's a very, very intricate part in our life and in my practice.
Is there one particular architect or one particular structure that has given you inspiration?
Many people, starting from Bruce Lee, Maradona, recently Charles Correa, Dada Ando, even sometimes Amitabh Bachchan, everybody. In life, even my hawker in my train when I journey, and my friends, everybody give me inspirations, and I try to investigate every day's life in my work. So that's I believe in.
It sounds very intense, Obin. Very, very intense. So, very good. Questions? If you could just move into this area because we can't see you otherwise.
Good evening, sir. My name is Dipti. I'm a student of architecture. My question to you is, life is changing. It's like ever changing. It's dynamic.
Yeah.
So how can we incorporate this very important factor in the art that we create?
See, it's an experience. Life is always changing, and it will be more critical to survive. You are young, and you'll be going through a digital era. So it's a very important to focus that your inspirations will be coming from a life, what you're leading. So it's important that you enjoy your life and take cues from there and start practicing or start meditating on that. And you'll find architecture, art in everywhere, every spaces, every element. So I think more you observe deeply, I think you get many more ideas in your life and art and architecture.
Hi, Abhin. This is Dheeraj Bansali here. My question is, how you take your art or your architecture, bold or artful?
Bold or?
Artful.
It's a part of design. So neither bold, neither art. It's a part of the design. So every art has to respect architecture. Architecture has to respect the art. So it's marrying together. So I cannot separate which is bold and which is art. So everything is an entity which has to be giving you experience every day, in future, and you live in this experience.
How you define your art actually? It's on bold side or an artful side actually?
No, there are no definitions. It has to be respect my spaces.
Thank you.